narrate the experiences of a environment activist working in a remote small area, it is Chinta Satyajit of the most backward district, Chamba. You know, forests are the backbone of mountain ecology. And Himalayas is the most fragile mountain chain of full, but very vital for determining the climatic functions, for providing so many environmental services, ecological service to Indian subcontinent. Unfortunately, the department managing our forests in mountain areas and India as a whole as well, with a colonial baggage on its head, was, even after independence, managing these forests for sheer commercial ends. And the basic strategy for that was improvement forestry on the name of scientific forestry. It was more a commercial and improvement forestry, not at all scientific forestry, because for this improvement forestry, most of the natural forest areas were being clear-felled, full of biodiversity, multiple species, which were giving rich livelihoods to the local people and conserving water and soils of the Himalayas. They were being converted into pine and eucalyptus monocultures in lower hills and in deodar in higher hills. This was, on one hand, was damaging the livelihood of local communities, and on the second hand were damaging the capacity of this great mountain to give ecological services. I, as a young man of 23, could understand that something wrong is going on. And as a social worker with my two friends, wanted to work on this. And fortunately, one day at Pathankot, in Pasthan Ashram, the ashram established by Vinobaji, while he was on his travel for Bhudan movement, I met Shri Sundarlal Bahuguna. He was on his way to Srinagar to start very famous Kashmir Kohima Chipko footpath. I found the answer for my question and offered myself to join him. And I did that. And right from Langera village at J&K and Himachal Boundary to Pune in Jaunsar border, the then UP border, for another 2.5 months I remained with him in that footpath. That first-hand interaction with the people convinced me all the more that whatever I was feeling, that was right. All the people around Himalayas are suffering from the same problem, threat to livelihoods and threat of ecological disaster. I decided to start my work from Chinta area. We raised nurseries and replaced the forest plantations of pines and eucalyptus monocultures, which were being taken up by clear-felling the natural forest. And gradually the local species, these are the two images, species of fruit, fodder, fuel, fiber, fertilizer and medicinal species, and replaced the forest plantations every season for 2 years. But that needed big effort because plantations were quite spread in far-flung areas. So one of my very wise but illiterate friends gave a beautiful advice. Instead of replacing these plantations in the areas, why can't we replace the nursery? So we collected seeds of the required species of multiple use, fruit, fodder, fiber species, and replaced the nurseries in whole of that Saptasim Sunka in 18 panchayats. The forest department hit back. Cases were registered against 43 of us. But people were involved in thousands. So they formed the police station Sunka, and the police could not arrest us. But ultimately, we were called to negotiate by the government to Shimla. With then Chief Minister, I could meet him on 22nd March 1984 in the Assembly office. Mr. Ranjit Singh, the MP in Janta Design, was also sitting there. I could prove my point by showing these pictures. So this is how your forest department is destroying the natural forest. And our livelihoods are at threat. And why this clear felling of the local species? This is a clear felled forest of Bohemia wahadi, a creeper. The department declares it a parasite, but this is so useful for farmers that we use it in 15 activities, including making wheat plates, which is called pakal in this area. So the Chief Minister was shocked to see all this. Really? The forest department is doing this type of forestry. But Chief Conservator Forest present there couldn't explain. He could only say that this is a standard practice of improvement forestry. How funny it was. This was the type of improvement being done to our forest. Our demands were accepted. The orders were issued to stop this improvement forestry. And the plantation of eucalyptus was stopped in government forest because it is a highly water depleting species. The pine plantation in and around villages was stopped. This is the copy of the letter and second one of order. The pine plantation was banned in and around villages and in pasture area because pine disturbs all grasses and undergrowth. It is a highly aggressive species destroying all biodiversity. So that was also banned. Oak and rhododendron got declared protected species. And surplus dry fuel which was being exported, converted into charcoal and then exported, it was also banned from the areas where fuel scarcity is there. So this was one achievement which enthused us to work more vigorously. We were quite aware that the mainstream development model is destroying the ecology of Himalayas. The recent catastrophe of Uttarakhand has not only the hydropower, the cement industry, the unmindful road construction, unscientific road construction, throwing the debris down the slope, destroying all the forests mercilessly. So we must be prepared to find technological alternatives and activity-based alternatives as well, where we cannot construct a road without destroying long stretches of forest. We can go in for roadways. Where road is possible to be constructed, we can construct it with a better technology. That's cut and fill technology is quite acceptable that way. And when we are going in for generating electricity, we know we need electricity, we need industrial goods. But there is a limit to the exploitation of Himalaya, and we should determine that limit, recognize that limit, and should never cross that limit. We should decide that any river should not be exploited more than 60%, say, for example. But our rivers are going to die 100%. The Ravi, a small river flowing in district Chamba, it runs 76 kilometers in Himachal Pradesh. But when all the proposed and ongoing projects are completed, only 4 kilometers of this river will be flowing independently. Rest of it either will be in embankment or in tunnels. So, do you expect our rivers to die like that? Can Himalaya bear this type of man-made disaster to our riverine systems? And this is just one example. We are behaving everywhere like that. Our cement plants, we are running after them. Every day, government is declaring that 11 of them are in pipeline. And now, when another is coming up at Andorra, maybe some grinding unit from the power project being constructed at Chamba. So this type of destruction and destructive development if we are going to bring, but at the same time we want that we will give large scale employment to people in tourism. Tourism and cement industry cannot go together. Nobody will come to Himachal to see denuded, destructive landscape. So we, while going in for this development is not a thing which just has started after industrial revolution. It's a regular process. The idea of India, the message of India was always respecting nature along with development. So Gandhi said that we must learn to differentiate between need and greed. Nature has enough to fulfill the needs of everybody, but has nothing for the greed of anybody. That can be a guiding principle. So we must aspire and plan and struggle, especially everybody else, but especially the young amongst us, for a type of development which is ecologically sustainable. Because we are not the last generation on this earth. So we should strive for a development which is ecologically sustainable and which is full of equity, intra-generation and intergeneration equity. We must spare enough for our generations to come. The resources which is done today. Affluence is for development. Happiness, peace and prosperity with contentment can be the best development. Contentment should be the result and